Welcome back to part 2 of building Bo-Katan. We're going to be going over the upgrades and improvements that we did. If you missed it, here's a recap. Last time what we did was we made Bo-Katan from this $30 or $40 Disney doll, and then switched the body, we drilled out the hands, put on armor. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking it one step further. What we've done now is actually modeled some new 3D parts, including a chest, a helmet, and some guns. Here are the parts that we made. The download link will be in the description below, and here we go. So the first thing we did is we printed out the parts, and then we're primering them up to get them ready for the final paint job. So here's some black primer. We've actually already sanded the parts. These parts I didn't sand very long. I just kind of made them smooth enough and ready to go. I bought this on Amazon. I first tried to use this food dehydrator because I thought this was going to be a great idea. I thought it would speed up the time of drying. And so what I did is I tried to lay down all the pieces, and this food dryer was too small, so I couldn't fit the helmet in there without flipping the plate upside down. And this whole process just failed. It made the room really hot, and it kind of stained the plastic. It was just not great. So what I did is just waited it out and let it dry normally. So after it dried, what I did is I started painting some gray acrylic paint. I did some blue on the helmet, dripping it all over the place. And then from there, I started taping up the helmet to work on the patterns. So Bo-Katan's helmet has a white piece in front that you've seen, and there's some markings on that. So right here, we're just taping off the front of the helmet. And because I was kind of lazy, what I decided to do was just hand paint the front, and I shouldn't have done that. I admit that was a mistake. It just came out kind of choppy and not so great, but then I tried to weather it to make it look a little better, and I was too lazy to paint a new one, so I kind of just left it. But I think it's good enough. Let me know in the comments below if you think it's horrible. From there, what I did is I painted the outline of the visor. This way it would be black even if my sticker's not 100% perfect. So you can see that we're just painting in some outlines of this. I've noticed that painting the visors aren't that big of a deal anymore now that I've had more practice. You just use the lines of the mask to contour the metal part of the brush so that the bristles actually just kind of flow through. It's not too bad. Here what we're doing is weathering up the helmet a little more, kind of marking out some of the silver parts, like the sides and whatnot, to give it more of that shine. Not too bad there. Kind of do that on the other side too. You can see the helmet is still pretty basic. Here we're stripping down all the parts that she's had. And now what we're doing is we're trying to weather up the rest of the grays to kind of get it to match the gray on the new chest and the new helmet. So this whole process, I kind of went around in circles to try to make this look good. And what you'll see is that didn't turn out great, because there was always some sort of color discrepancy. I'm not really good at matching paint colors, so you can see that the chest is actually a very light gray or lighter gray compared to the stock parts, right? And so that was a problem. And you can see here I'm trying to weather it up with some more silver and trying to get that paint tone to match, and that all didn't go very well. But here you can see I'm weathering up the blue parts, which did turn out pretty good. Just give it a little bit of like metal accents and stuff like that. And here are the knees, weathering up the knees as well. I think those turned out okay. You'll see better shots once we get to everything. But yeah, looking at these parts and how they don't match kind of made me go, I'm not too thrilled with these results. So what we had to do was we had to step back and take the fail on that. So let's rewind and go back and try to match the colors of the gray. So what we did is we actually, on the finished product there, what we did was we took some of this graphite powder. Remember to wear gloves or your hands are going to get really dirty. So off of the primer, what we did is we just rubbed it all over it. And what that does is it gives it the shiny metallic sheen to it. And that's actually what we ended up with. And so not only did we rub that on the chest or any parts that were gray, we actually rubbed it on all the rest of the gray parts from the original Disney doll as well, so that everything would match perfectly, and it gave it this fine metallic sheen. It actually looks really good in the light, and so that's how we fixed that. So here we're on to stickers. So these are the patterns. Links to these stickers or these patterns that you can either cut out by hand or use a cry cut machine to cut. A link in the description below. But here we loaded up those patterns in the cry cut machine, or the Cricut machine. And we just printed those out. Now we're cutting off the parts that we printed out. And now we're doing a sticker party. So this part is the visor. So I painted the base paint of black, and here is a sticker for the glossy part of the visor, so that once you get everything on, it will look perfect and great. So this part is one of the symbols, that V thing on the top of her helmet. And then these are the 5 little triangles that she has on top. So I know that this helmet with this body isn't exactly accurate, but I'm just showing how you could actually get those markings on there if you want. So not only can you just stick the stickers on like this, what you could do is before you painted the white, you could have marked these parts off and then spray painted the base black and then marked these things off, and then painted the white and then peeled them off and have the black be underneath. But I didn't do that for this case. Here we're working on the shoulders. You can see we're peeling off the circle, and now we're painting in the circle with white, because if you look at her armor, she has a black outer line and then a white circle. And then from there, right here we're just painting in more white. But after you get that nice white in there, what you'll see is that there's pattern, like a black owl pattern in there as well. Here's me doing the circle on the other side, and then painting that in as well. And after this part is where we do the detailing on the inside, so I'm going to dab that real quick. And then here is the owl part that you can see on her logo. So here's the top part of it, and then there's a bottom 2 little prongs that we're going to add to that. But that actually gives you a nice painted look to this. So you can see that I'm trying to be very delicate with these little pieces. And the toothpick actually helps position the vinyl in place. And then once you see that, it actually looks pretty decent. We're going to do the other side as well. Here's the top of the circle part with that owl pattern thing. And then using the toothpick to put it in place. And then grabbing the 2 little V marks and then putting those in place. Once we get that in there, and then pushing it in place with the toothpick so that it looks great. The other thing you can do is you can use contact paper and then just stick it on the vinyl and then stick it onto this. But for this case, it's so small, I didn't use contact paper. I just decided to freehand it with the toothpick. And there you have that nice shoulder design that looks legit. And it looks like you painted it. So here we're using the Cricut machine again with the new templates for the rest of the helmet pattern, the owl eyes, and a link for these will also be in the description below. And so what we're doing is we're just placing them on, and it's a sticker party. It's not too bad. You can see the grays there, and lining up with toothpicks, and then just push it on afterwards, and everything should be great. I think there's another piece to this where we fill in the circle with solid circle, like so, and we do it to both sides. So you'll see that we're going to do that on the other side soon, which isn't too bad. It actually looks pretty legit. So here's me doing it on the other side. Again, you can always use this as a template and then spray the base color first and then use it to cover, and then cover everything with white. That's the reverse of this. But in this case, I'm just using them as stickers to get everything painted on to make them look legit without having to repaint everything on the base colors. And so there you have the helmet. Here's a comparison of the 2 products face to face. So the one that we just made is on the left, and the one that Hot Toys made is on the right. You can fully tell the difference in the blues. and also the style of armor. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.